Here's an excerpt from Mrs. Vera Grady's story of Elanda Plains in the Wahpunga district.
In September 1913, my parents, with 10 children and 80 head of cattle, arrived by train at Pomona. The cattle came into contact with pleurisy, and during the wet summer of 1913, on the very wet plains of Elanda, every head of cattle died, leaving my parents with no means of support. Fortunately, Fred Lister, of Lister Brothers shop in Gympie, heard of my father's plight and offered him a job working his farm at Kutharaba. Every heifer calf born would become my father's, and in that way he could restock his herd. Another set of twins was added to our family, my mother traveling by buckboard to the railway hotel in Pomona to meet the nurse, who had arrived from Mwilimba a day or two earlier. The nurse, not being able to resist the hotel's hospitality, was dead drunk. Nevertheless, they managed without her, and Eddie and Edna arrived safely. Mum had no nurse training, only her own experience after 12 children, but she would go out looking after women having their babies. The doctors were too far away, the nearest being at Gympie. She went as far as Wolvi, and one time she had to swim a flooded creek on horseback at night, to get to a lady having her first baby. In 1924, my mother went to visit relations in Mwilimba, bringing my grandmother Callie back with her. It had been raining heavily, and Augie Rewalt couldn't get through on the Kin Kin Road, but thought he could cross the 6-mile creek on the Kutharaba Road. He drove his horses and wagon into the creek, with my mother, grandmother, and Mrs. Hose on board, but the horses couldn't get across. The creek rose quickly, and the ladies couldn't swim, so he ran into Pomona to get help. The 3 ladies clung to the wagon for 4 hours, up to their necks in cold flood water. Mrs. Hose was sitting on a cream can, in the back. She started to panic, thinking she couldn't feel the floor of the wagon beneath her. In the meantime, Herb Page had quickly made a raft, no time for care, and 2 Stjernquist lads and 2 Armitage boys swam out with the raft and brought the ladies in, one at a time. Mrs. Hose had a bottle of rum in her bag, which her husband had asked her to bring back from town, and as the water was very cold and the boys were blue and shivering, Mum asked her to give them a drink. She wasn't going to, as it was her husband's, but Mum took it and gave it to them. They were taken to Mrs. Green's place, where Grandma was put to bed, but she developed pneumonia, and was there for 2 weeks. When she finally got back to our home, she only stayed 24 hours, and insisted on going home to Mwilimba. She'd had enough of Queensland.